A very good Saturday evening to all our viewers. You're watching Primetime News coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news this evening, I'm Mariam Ganavijaya. First up is a look at your headlines.
Sports Minister to file an appeal to the ICC over the suspension of Sri Lanka cricket. Sri Lanka cricket president responds, set to meet the ICC board on November 21st, says Sri Lanka cricket president. 3, including the chairman of the Central Environmental Authority, remanded for obtaining bribes. Sri Lanka's intention is to create a broader relationship with the international community, says the president. Showers to intensify from tomorrow. Met Department predicts 39 reservoirs opened.
On to your lead story this evening. Yesterday, the International Cricket Council announced that it has suspended Sri Lanka cricket's membership with immediate effect. Now, where is the sport of cricket in Sri Lanka heading? Here is a full report filed by Newsfirst.
The board of the International Cricket Council announced yesterday that Sri Lanka cricket is in serious breach of its obligations as a member. According to the ICC, the requirement to manage its affairs autonomously and ensure that there is no government interference in the governance, regulation and/or administration of cricket in Sri Lanka. The conditions of the suspension will be decided by the ICC board in due course. Meanwhile, the president of Sri Lanka cricket is to meet with the ICC board on the 21st of November.
What is the International Cricket Council?
The International Cricket Council is the global governing body of cricket. It was founded as the Imperial Cricket Conference in 1909 by representatives from Australia, England and South Africa. The ICC has its headquarters in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The ICC has 108 member nations currently, 12 full members that play test matches and 96 associates members.
What are the duties of the International Cricket Council?
The ICC is responsible for the organisation and governance of cricket's major international tournaments. The ICC is also tasked with taking disciplinary actions against administrative officials in instances where violations are reported. Formulating international cricket regulations, organising international cricket tournaments and appointing administrative officials, coordinate action against corruption and match fixing through its anti-corruption and security unit, setting professional standards of discipline for international cricket, building better systems for the sport, working with member countries to develop and promoting cricket globally.
What is the suspension the International Cricket Council imposed on Sri Lanka cricket?
The board of the ICC decided to temporarily suspend the membership of Sri Lanka cricket. The ICC said heavy government interference can be observed in Sri Lanka cricket. The ICC highlighted requirement to manage its affairs autonomously and ensure that there is no government interference in the governance, regulation and/or administration of cricket in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, several news websites, WION and Cricinfo, have reported that Sri Lanka cricket itself had requested the suspension from the ICC.
What punishments can the International Cricket Council impose on Sri Lanka cricket in the future?
The ICC will suspend Sri Lanka cricket, deprived of voting privilege at ICC board meetings and demoted to observer status, depriving the country's athletes of participating in international tournaments representing Sri Lanka. The suspension applies not only to the national cricket team but also to men's and women's teams of all age groups representing Sri Lanka. From 2014 to 2015, cricket was controlled by an interim control committee. During that period, the Sri Lankan team was able to participate in the international tournament. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka cricket participated in the ICC Administrative Board meetings as an observer and funds were obtained from the ICC through a third party or escrow account. Convening a press conference this afternoon, Minister of Sports Roshan Ranasinghe explained the current situation of Sri Lanka cricket.
ජාත්‍යන්තරයේ වග කියන මාධ්‍ය වෙබ් අඩවි දෙකක් වෙන ESPN සහ
Internationally renowned media website ESPN Cricinfo has clearly said that Sri Lanka cricket was suspended as requested by the chairman of Sri Lanka Cricket during an online meeting held yesterday. Myself and the opposition leader both received information saying that they celebrated the suspension of Sri Lanka cricket with alcohol in a room at a hotel in Colombo. So we can now understand what kind of a cricket board existed in our country. All I can explain here is the kind of corrupted traitors who have requested to suspend their own country. I am unable to understand how these people became this cruel to corrupt and abuse your own country by requesting the ICC to suspend the country. I will be gathering information on Monday for the Court of Appeal. In the meantime, I will have to ask the ICC why Sri Lanka cricket was maliciously suspended. We have already drafted a letter and is ready to be sent requesting for the reason of suspension. We have requested the ICC's Dispute Resolution Committee to lodge a complaint and we will respond to it. I will also appeal the ICC on this, and thereafter our next option would be to reach out to the Court of Arbitration of Sports. I hope we will be able to resolve this problem before we reach out to them. However, I will make every step to rectify the mistake.
දුසාන් වලට යන්න. මම හිතනවා එච්චර දුර යන්න නැති වෙන විසඳ ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා. හැබැයි මේක සුද්ධ කරන්න අවශ්‍ය පියවර ගන්නවා.
ඔබතුමා ඊයේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කිව්වා ක්‍රිකට් තහනම් කරොත් මෙන්න මේ දේවල් කරන්න කියලා. බැරි වෙලා හරි ඔබතුමාගේ ඇමතිකම නැතුනොත් එහෙම මොකද?
එක එක ඩ්‍රාමා දාන්නනේ මේ ඔක්කොම සැලසුම්.
The plan is purely drama oriented. This is a good teledrama. Some are secretly recording requesting a suspension. They also say that it was suspended because of the ministers. Some of them are requesting to take over and some wants to reshuffle the ministry. Then you will have to consider this country as a country which safeguards the thieves and sends the minister home.
එහෙමනම් හිතන්න වෙන්නේ හොරා රැකලා වැඩක් කරපු ඇමතිවරයා යවන රටක් කියලා තමයි අන්තිමේට ඔබතුමාලට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ.
Newsfirst inquired from the ICC regarding the suspension of Sri Lanka cricket. However, no response was issued.
Why is cricket so important for Sri Lanka?
During past few decades, despite many hardships faced by Sri Lankans from all walks of life, cricket provided a sense of pride and patriotism. Cricket was the only thing that united Sri Lanka through division. However, the journey Sri Lanka went through to come to the top of the sport is not so glamorous. Here is the brief history of cricket in Sri Lanka.
How did Sri Lanka obtain membership of the ICC?
Sri Lanka was promoted to Test status on the 21st of July 1981. This did not happen overnight. Sri Lanka fought for the Test status from 1975. Sri Lanka's performance in its two matches against Pakistan in 1973 to 1974 led the President of the Board of Control for Cricket in Pakistan, A.H. Kadir, to urge the International Cricket Conference to consider promoting Sri Lanka to Test status. India seconded the motion. During the vote, India and Pakistan voted in favour of Sri Lanka obtaining Test status, while England, Australia, West Indies and New Zealand voted against Sri Lanka. Accordingly, the first proposal to award Sri Lanka Test status in international cricket was defeated 4-2. Despite losing the opportunity to perform at international Test cricket matches, the standard of Sri Lankan team's performance did not drop. In 1981, Sri Lanka performed exceptionally well against Australia. Fred Bennett was the Australian manager during the 1981 tour of Sri Lanka. Due to the exceptional performance of the Sri Lankan team during the tour, Australia promised to support Sri Lanka in obtaining Test status at the ICC conference to be held in July of that year. Late Mr. Gamini Dissanayake was selected as the chairman of the board of Sri Lanka Cricket, and late Mr. R. Rajamahendran was appointed as the vice chairman. The duo, who loved the gentleman's sport, worked tirelessly to obtain Test status for Sri Lanka. On the 20th of July 1981, Mr. Gamini Dissanayake delivered a heartfelt speech at the 1981 ICC conference. Accordingly, Sri Lanka was awarded Test cricket status in 1981 by the International Cricket Conference. Sri Lanka became the 8th country to obtain Test status. Obtaining the membership of the ICC was a blessing to Sri Lanka in many ways. The country, which was known globally as Ceylon, was recognized for its skills in the gentleman's sport. Every mainstream school in Colombo started playing cricket. Young talent from the most rural parts of Sri Lanka went on to become global superstars and icons, proving the heart and grit of Sri Lankan players. Sri Lanka, which was divided by many things, was united by this beauty of the sport. In 1996, Sri Lanka became world champions and in 2014 became the T20 champions of the world. Cricket brought Sri Lanka to the finals of World Championships in 4 instances, making both hardcore and casual fans of the sport proud to be Sri Lankan. Throughout the history of Sri Lanka, there has never been a social phenomenon where Sri Lankans united together despite many hardships. Today, cricket fans are waiting for a day where they can enjoy the thrill of Sri Lankan cricket.
Newsfirst with the people.
Meanwhile, 3 people, including the chairman of the Central Environment Authority, have been remanded. They were remanded on orders of the Halfstop Magistrates Court. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption arrested 3 people, including the chairman of the CEA, for soliciting a bribe of 10 million rupees. Now, the chairman of the CEA has requested the bribe from the complainant over a project being conducted by the CEA. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption made the arrest while the CEA chairman was obtaining the bribe from 2 middlemen. On to other local developments. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says Sri Lanka's aim to broaden relationships with the international community. He expressed these views in an event held in Colombo yesterday.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe attended the annual graduation ceremony of the Bandanayake Centre for International Studies held at the BMICH in Colombo today. The event was graced by the presence of notable dignitaries, including former President Chandrika Bandanayake Kumaratunga, the chairwoman of the Bandanayake Centre for International Studies.
So we have to find our markets, we have to find our economic ties. South, SAARC. So we have to find our markets, we have to find our economic ties. South, SAARC as a concept is dead. I mean, someone has forgotten to tell SAARC that it's dead, but the fact is, it's no longer functional. What do we find? I think we have to move further down. We have BIMSTEC, which is still coming together as a group. The other option available for us was to join RCEP. So the government of Sri Lanka applied to join the RCEP, which will give us a big market, the biggest market. It's not as tight as the comprehensive and the progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, but nevertheless, I think it's the best economic bloc that Sri Lanka can join. At the same time, we are negotiating with India on a separate treaty which will certainly upgrade the present free trade agreement and we will go into a comprehensive economic and technological partnership. The Indian government has recommended that we separate trade from investment. I think that's good. So we will go along that track. We have now got to further deepen our relations with EU and expand our relationships there. But as far as the political direction is concerned, that we treat the Indian Ocean as being free from big power rivalry. We should not allow big power rivalry to take place there. That Sri Lanka has been expressing at every international fora. We ourselves seems to be becoming caught in the America-China rivalry. Hambantota is being labeled as a Chinese port, as the government at times are supposed to be helping China. So that's how it works. We all know what the actual situation is. But that rivalry is also not good for our region. It's a rivalry we can do without. Far as we are concerned, we don't look at US as one option and China as another option. We take on the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific. The Chinese government prefers to stay on to the Asia-Pacific concept. We have no problem with it.
The president also expressed views regarding the ongoing Israel-Gaza conflict.
The Israeli aim is to destroy the Hamas leadership. Let's say they destroy the Hamas leadership that's now in Gaza. That's not the end of it. You will get the next generation of Hamas. Half the Arab world is with the Hamas, and that will be worse than this. And what impact it will have in our part of the world, we don't know. It's a serious issue. You can't destroy the Hamas. You can destroy this leadership. You can destroy everyone who was in the Hamas, not only the fighters, but even the members. But still the next generation of Hamas has already been born. Basically, what is happening? The whole Gaza war is brought into your living room by Al Jazeera. And you just should know best, because the Tet war in Vietnam, the Tet campaign was brought into the American living rooms by the American TV, and the whole attitude of America to the war changed. And that is what is happening. So this is what we have to look out, and we have to ensure there's ceasefire, and we can ensure that the situation will gradually or very slowly come back to a normal situation.
Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga also spoke about foreign policy formulation.
Today, the big powers still wish to dominate us and to gain strategic control of the Indian Ocean. Only the methodology employed differs today. Today, it is called not conquest, but credit, granting of credit. Loans on easy terms that are so easy, by the way, that they end up by strangling us economically. It is also called development investment. But here I must hasten to add that there are two types of development investments coming from foreign shores. One, which is benevolent, generous, helping us to find credit to develop facilities in our country, to develop our economy. There is another type of so-called investment, foreign investment, that comes in to give us whatever amount, sums of money we demand or we request on very high interest rates to develop anything and everything which is often not required by the country. That is one of the reasons for the economic bankruptcy of our country presently. In this context, our foreign policy must be rooted in an understanding of these factors. We must be formulated in such a manner that it promotes our role as a dynamic, responsible player on the global stage, while promoting our national interests, economic, social, and while protecting our cultural heritage.
An event to celebrate 75 years of diplomatic relations between France and Sri Lanka was held in Colombo yesterday. An augmented reality exhibition was held in Colombo yesterday to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between France and Sri Lanka. The event was titled Miri Minwi. Miri Minwi is an exhibition which presents 11 augmented reality posters and art prints by 11 young artists. It features works from various eminent artists and is curated by renowned French illustrator, graphic and motion designer Aurélia Génie. Ambassador of France to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, Jean-François Pacté, also took part in the event.
So we are at the Alliance Française in Colombo, and we are opening an exhibition about Novembre Numérique, which is digital November, about some artworks which animates when you download the app, and it's the first time, I think, in Colombo that we are doing that, so we're happy to do that. It's free. Please come and visit, and it's the idea is you have a nice exhibition. At the same time, it's fun to look at the pictures which animate, so you have to play a bit with it and come and visit, and it's really fun. And some French artists who did the work. We have work from 11 different French artists, so please come and visit. The exhibition stays until the end of November.
In line with the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and France, a series of events are organized by the French Embassy in Sri Lanka and the Maldives during the months of October, November and December 2023. An event on menstrual health organized by the French Embassy in Sri Lanka in partnership with the Family Planning Association of Sri Lanka was held in Colombo today. The event was held as part of the collective action against period poverty project.
And in France, period poverty is said to impact between 2 and 4 million people. And whatever the numbers are, it highlights that it is not a very well-researched topic, not a very well-known phenomenon, because it is linked with the taboo of periods, with that stigma present in every society. But period poverty has big consequences. Insufficient access to menstrual hygiene prevents equal access to health, education, and employment of girls and women.
A panel discussion on period poverty also took place during the event. In more local developments, 4 liquor manufacturing companies whose licenses were suspended recently have settled a part of their tax arrears to the government. Now, the Excise Department says that a part of their tax arrears was settled to the government, and that amounted to 198 million rupees. It was agreed to settle the remainder of these tax arrears by the 31st of December in 9 installments. Now, the Excise Department suspended the licenses of the liquor manufacturing companies due to the non-payment of tax arrears that totaled to about 1.1 billion rupees. However, the Excise Department says that the licenses were restored after a part of their tax arrears were paid today. Moving on, an event to introduce the panel of judges of the Export Awards organized by the National Chamber of Exporters was held in Colombo yesterday.
NCE Export Awards is the premier awards ceremony and the flagship event in the Sri Lankan business calendar, conducted by National Chamber of Exporters, specially designed to recognize and reward outstanding performance of exporters of Sri Lanka. The event has achieved national recognition over the past 29 years due to its professionalism and high standards. This prestigious award is meant to enhance the visibility of the exporter in the global market and gain prominence and ease of access into various international markets. In bestowing this award, the Chamber recognizes various important aspects of a business accentuating on people, profit and planet.
This time we had record number of applications, 167 to be exact. It was a tough task for the panel of judges. Everybody had done well. If you compare from the previous year, there's improvement. Even though some of the companies face a lot of obstacles, high inflation, they have been able to penetrate into new markets, and especially emerging markets like Eastern European countries, former Soviet Union countries, which I think is a good sign for the country.
Further, special awards are given for innovation, value additions and research development, keeping abreast with economic views of the Sri Lankan government.
A bicycle parade and a tree planting ceremony took place today in line with the 150th anniversary celebrations of Wesley College, Colombo.
A bicycle parade and a tree planting ceremony took place in line with the 150th anniversary celebrations of Wesley College, Colombo. The bicycle parade took place today from Methodist Church, Dam Street, Petta to the Wesley College grounds at Campbell Park. The tree planting ceremony took place at the college grounds soon after the completion of the bicycle parade.
Today's LOLC Divi Savia program got underway centering schools in the Norelia district. Day 46 of the second leg of the Divi Savia program organized by the LOLC group got underway today. The second leg of the LOLC Divi Savia program targets Sri Lankan schools with less than 100 students. Today's program was held centering the Norelia district. School books and stationery items were distributed among students of the Puduloya Tamil Vidyalaya, Dunsain No. 3 Tamil Vidyalaya, Katavola No. 2 Tamil Vidyalaya and the Hunugaloya Tamil Vidyalaya. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education. In some tragic news, Gamini Virakun, the former editor of The Island and Sunday Island and a consultant editor of the Sunday Leader, passed away this morning. Gamini Virakun made a lasting impression within the prestigious fields of Sri Lankan journalism and left his mark on Sri Lanka's media landscape. A significant chapter in history has come to an end with the demise of this trailblazing journalist. during his tenure as editor of The Island and The Sunday Leader, Gamini Veerakoon's influence extended beyond the newspaper and into the hallways of thinking, as his weekly yarn became a vital component of Sri Lankan journalism. Readers looked forward to Veerakoon's weekly columns because they enjoyed his distinct blend of wit, wisdom and unapologetic opinion. His ability to condense complex ideas into readable stories won him over to a wide range of readers, and thereby Gamini Veerakoon leaves behind a brilliant journalistic legacy, a commitment to the truth and a confidence in the transformational power of an open and responsible press. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News here on TV1. Thank you for watching. Good night and take care.